Hello everyone, my name is Marcus Stewart and welcome to a brand new episode of New Gameplay Today. And I am joined by not one, but two Alexes. First and foremost, Alex Van Aken.
Hey, thanks for having me, Marcus.
Hi there. And of course, the lovely Alex Stadnik.
Thank you. Why was I not first and foremost?
Because Van Aken's name, he has two names in his last name, so...
Fair.
It's the alphabet, dude.
I can't I can't argue with that.
Although V does come after S, but you know, we're not asking questions.
we're
here.
Exactly.
We're looking at Death's Door.
Death's Door here. So this is a brand new game out today by Acid Nerve, who some of you may remember as the developer of Titan Souls, which was a really cool indie game from, I believe, 2015. This is kind of their first like real big release since then. And it's out today on the Xbox consoles and PC. And it's about a little crow there. That's you. As you see, he works for a bunch of crows in this organization that they're basically reapers. They kind of manage death. So you see, we're kind of getting the intro here where our little, I guess, supervisor's telling us, like, hey, you got to go collect this big soul and bring it back. So you got to go to the real world and bring that back for us. And kind of the stipulation is that, you know, in this world, which is their headquarters, is in black and white, they're pretty much immortal, but when they exit to go to the real world to get their souls, they can age and die. And so the longer they're out there and the longer it takes them to get their assignment done, the more at risk they are to dying. And it's also the gameplay kind of reasoning for why you can suddenly get killed.
Yeah.
Sure.
So we've all been playing this. I have finished it. By the time you are watching this, dear viewer, the review should be up on the site. But yeah, you guys are a decent ways into it, it sounds like.
Yeah. I'm about halfway through myself. Absolutely love this game. I think it is a game of the year contender for me so far.
Wow.
Like I said, I haven't finished it, but if it continues its current pace and kind of satisfaction and its gameplay and puzzles like it is, and I love this game so much. But I'll let Alex talk before we get carried away.
Yeah, I'm about 3 hours in, so I'd say about a third of the way. And I went into this not like I really enjoyed what I saw from the trailer and whatnot, but I was like, how much of this is going to be a Souls experience versus a Zelda experience? And I think why I love it so much is it balances the charm and what I like about those genres very well. And obviously, you know, a lot of Zelda stuff is Dark Souls stuff and vice versa, but I'm enamored with it, and just with its beautiful art design and just kind of bizarre world, it is surprised me in a way I wasn't expecting. I didn't even really know this game existed until like a week ago. So
Yeah, this is a Devolver Digital published game, and as you can see here, it's got some kind of top-down Zelda-ish influences, more isometric view than, I guess, straight top-down.
Yeah.
And you can kind of see here, we're kind of starting with a boss fight, which is sort of your tutorial, which kind of calls back to Acid Nerve. Like I said, Titan Souls, if anyone's played that game, that entire game is just a giant boss rush. And so some of that DNA is definitely present in this game. Like I said, starting here with the boss and other.
The boss fights in this game are really fun.
Yeah.
I think. Mini bosses, regular bosses. They're all good.
And it's I think another highlight of it is it is challenging. Like, don't get me wrong, you're not going to succeed every run that you go on, but I feel like they do checkpoints so well in this where it's almost never frustrating.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, it takes that sting out of a Souls-born experience, right? Where it's like the frustration's not boss, it's having to fight your way through the sea of enemies to get to the boss. You know what I mean? So I really think this is a good entry point if you're looking for like a boss centric type of game like that.
Yeah, and we should probably be clear that this is not a roguelike. This is not a run-based game. This is a more traditional, like I said, like Zelda-ish game. Like, there is an overworld that is sort of a junction point to these different kind of biomes that each have their own central dungeon, and then a bunch of kind of environmental puzzle solving and combat, like enemies hanging out for you to get through. This game is laden with puzzles that are actually surprisingly difficult, and some of them are gated by different abilities. So in kind of Zelda fashion, you'll see like a rock, like a crumbled wall, and you're like, okay, I probably need something to blow that up. But and then like things for like that looks like that might require a grapple hook perhaps to get over to that like little island there. But there's other even just cooler visual puzzles. Like there's Alex, I think you've already went into the I think the forest area or the witch area where there's one cool puzzle. I won't spoil it, but it's more of a kind of an optical illusion sort of thing where that I think is cool, and I've been impressed with the puzzle variety, and like I said, like it's challenging. Like you really have to scan the environment in a way that I didn't expect going into this, to find little things and to find that one little breakthrough of like, wait, I think I know how to get over there now.
For sure.
Yeah.
And they do we can see we're in the Lost Cemetery right now. One thing I love about this game is its world, and another thing that I was not expecting to say, but I love the story of the world and how everything. There are so many questions that I find myself asking about this world because the things that you are encountering in the game are so interesting, and I love that they kind of keep some of the mystery of this world, and they dole out the answers to you at a good pace, but there's still like this. I don't know. When I walk around the world, I'm still like in awe of like, oh man, like this is such a cool area, you know, like even though it's minimal in its aesthetic in some ways, but it does so much with kind of lacing story through its areas. It's really neat.
For sure. And to build off of that too, there's definitely a melancholy nature, but it's also like it never gets too dour, and there's some subtle humor in this that I really enjoy. Like I feel like they could have leaned heavily into, you know, the fact that this person's job is to kill things and take their souls, but there's a nice balance there that I personally really appreciated.
Yeah, and I would say there's even straight up funny characters. Like a lot of the characters are very colorful and eccentric and weird, and there's some pretty like amusing conversations you have with some of them. So the game isn't, like I said, it seems like it would be like a sad fest, but it really isn't. And it kind of, when I interviewed the developers for a magazine feature, one of the reasons why they picked the crow is like, yeah, you know, crows are associated with kind of death and that kind of dark vibes, but also they're just very kind of funny animals. Like they're very intelligent. They do a lot of really weird, quirky little things. There's like, they're as entertaining as they are kind of, you know, dark, so to speak.
Yeah. And I think like to y'all's point about that, like there's even moments like, yeah, we've talked about like some of the characters are even humorous. I think even like after you take down a big boss, like your character, I don't want to spoil things, but your character, it's not like what you would expect after killing a big boss, like the reaction of the other characters in the game. Like there's almost like this, this is part of life. This is the process. This is like the circle of life. Let's respect each other, even though I'm like taking your soul. It's like really well done. And
here's a great bit, Alex. Have you done this? You break the sign, you see how it reads.
Oh my God, I haven't done this. That's amazing.
That.
Sorry, I just wanted to point that out.
Honestly, like, and I hate to be that guy, but I get a lot of Spirited Away vibes from this game. In its characters that you come across, it reminds me of the one thought that I just like cannot get out of my head is the bathhouse in Spirited Away, and all of the spirits and demons and stuff that are in that bathhouse in that movie, how they're all so different and interesting. And I feel like this game, that must have been like a major inspiration for them. I'd be so curious, because I constantly see just like an influx of I don't know, it's almost like you're on this like little tour of seeing like, oh yep, that guy over there, he's this spirit, and then this guy, there's this witch who's become obsessed with you know, her maternal instincts that have led her to, you know, want to have eternal life, and you know, over here is this guy. Like it's just like this really, really cool tapestry of characters and enemies too, you know. It's just such a good game.
Why wouldn't you want to be that guy? That was beautiful and well said.
Yeah, look at you. Tear to my eye.
Yeah, I did want to quick bring up. We've moved past in the footage a little bit, but the healing system is interesting in this because you have to pick up these seeds, and it's definitely kind of a risk reward thing in that once you pick up these seeds, you're limited to what you have. So, and I'll mark it perfect timing, like I planned it.
Go back,
Marcus.
Marcus.
Decided no. But
See, risk reward. I was considering like, do I want to put it there?
Yeah, you only have so many seeds that you can plant that give you that full health boost. So I was finding myself like really holding them until I knew like it really felt like a boss was coming up or like a mini boss. Because once you use them, they're done until you pick more up. So it's you really have to be careful, and you can't plant seeds in every single pot that you find.
Yeah,
that's the only way you get health unless you go back to the agency or wherever you came from.
Yeah, and it is easy to hoard them.
They do
too.
persist run to run, or not run. It's not a run,
right.
but
yes.
Again, it's not a run-based game, but
life to life.
Yeah, if you die, your seeds will be where you placed them before.
Yeah.
If you're wondering why I'm hitting this guy, his thing is that he can't die, so he's kind of teaching you the different kinds of attacks. He's like, "Hey, come at me, see if you can kill me." So it's like teaching you how to do your roll attack and your charge attack. And I will say the combat feels really good in this game.
Yes.
It's got some good hack and slash like combos. There's different melee weapons you can find. As you can see, if you look at the little UI there's 3 empty slots for the other items that you will get along the way. But I love the system of so you see you have your sword and your bow, and the bow's the shots are governed by those 4 little white pips in the upper left if you're looking. And those refill every time you attack with your melee weapons. So it's a fun kind of dance of like, I'm just going to unload on this guy. But then if you want to get your shots back, you got to get in there and get some hits in.
Yep.
So you can't rely entirely on range. But it was really fun finding that like balance of like, I'm going to hit this guy, shoot. Okay, I'm going to roll in and get this other guy. And then I'm going to take out this mage guy. Like, I'm doing really well here because this footage is after I finished the game. So I love
I think I died here twice.
Oh yeah.
My first playthrough.
Yeah. Also, you
My
can
only
fall off
playthrough.
the edges here. Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
You gotta roll off
Very
the edges.
I've done that
Yeah.
every time, many times.
Yeah. And I think this was an issue with my perception going into this game where I thought it was going to be more Soulsian, right? But I thought it was really refreshing how it didn't feel like the game was pushing you to conserve your range shots, because I figured it was like, oh, those 4, you get 4 shots and then you're done until you do a certain thing. But they really they encourage you to be as free form with your combat as possible, and I find that really, I don't know if refreshing is the right word, but it's really sticking with me in that way.
Yeah, and I think my only maybe like gripe is that there are other weapons, like I mentioned, like besides the sword, but they're fine, but I never really found them, like I stuck with the sword pretty much for most of the game. Like I tried out everything I got, and it's like, oh, this works, but they didn't feel different enough, or like stylistically different enough. Like there's like some blade or daggers you can find that makes you attack faster.
I'm using the daggers on my playthrough right now.
Okay, you like those?
I just like the speed of them.
For sure. Yeah, I messed with them for a bit.
In the back of my head, I'm like, should I go back to the sword?
Yeah, I kind of did after like maybe like an hour with the dagger. I was like, I think the sword's better. So I wish there was maybe a little bit more to the other weapons. Like I said, they're fine, but none of them really made me want to change the sword out for long. So here we are.
What's this?
The first real boss of the game. Just the
Guardian of the Door.
Just a big walking cathedral, because why not?
Also, yeah, like
nightmare.
speaking to those characters that I was talking about, like the breadth of variety. You've got this guy who's a giant cathedral spirit who, lost souls wander to him and he protects them essentially. Like that's his lore. And then like one of the bosses is like the Urn Witch. And she like, not to get into spoilers, like this is I wouldn't consider it a spoiler, but like, she is a witch and she casts spells on people. And like, but like everything is so, I don't know what the right word is. Like you've seen some of these like caricatures in other properties, but they're always in this game, just like they have some sort of unique twist to them that make you want to ask questions and make you want to like see more of them. I love it.
Yeah, and I love also the damage indicator. Like there's no health bars for any enemy in this game. All the damage shows up in their models. So like you see it's getting more and more cracked on the castle, and that's how every enemy displays their health, and I think that's a really cool touch. And it's also really satisfying when you see them just on the cusp, like they look like they're gonna fall apart any second. I just got to get maybe a couple more hits in.
Yeah. Dang, Marcus. Oh no!
You did. That was you, Alex. You pushed him. You're about to compliment him.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Even though he's not playing live. Anywho.
Yeah.
A true gamer would have done that with no hits, though.
Well, you know what? I already finished the game by this point. I felt I had nothing to prove. I went to show that death screen, which is pretty intense.
It is. Yeah. It's great.
I do like it. It kind of gives me like Ape Out vibes a little bit with the design of it. Yeah. Okay. How long did you play this game for, Marcus?
About 11 hours, and I was pretty thorough. Like I said, the game can be finished in about 8 to 10 hours, so it's nice. It's a good weekend game, nice compact, but there's a lot there. There's also some more stuff after the main story, we'll say, which is a fun little thing. But yeah, it is a densely packed experience that I had a great time with as we're kind of starting to wind down here a bit, see me rolling around aimlessly. But yeah, I'm having a good time with it, or I had a good time with it overall. I think it's one of my maybe favorite games of the year so far.
Nice.
Van Aken, it sounds like it's definitely up there for you.
Yeah, game of the year contender for me so far.
Nice. Yeah, it is, and for me, it is. I think I could see it ending up in my top 10 for sure. But we got more games coming out, folks.
Heck yeah. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Taking this look at Death's Door. Like I said, it's out today. Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and PC. And be sure to like, share, subscribe on the Game Informer YouTube channel if you enjoyed this video. And be sure to check out our other NGTs and other fun video content. And of course, be sure to visit GameInformer.com. So until then, see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.